which topic did you prepare?
I led the beginner part, which is the cleaner feature.
Cleaner future. All right.
Mm,
What did you understand about the article?
mm, mm, because of the coronavirus, the economic is melted down,
Mm-hmm.
and they 30 nations, the organization of 30 nations are suffering from um the worst global economic shock since
All right.
1930s. So yes. Mhm.
All right. So
Mm-mm.
what about with the title? How is it? Why is it titled as Cleaner Future?
The agents had to transit from. So this article say that we have to make a cleaner energy future.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I couldn't understand this article very well. So could you explain a little bit about the cleaner
Oh,
something?
sure. When it comes to the cleaner future,
Mm-mm.
the International Energy Agency is trying to or has a goal that
Mm-mm.
in the future
Mm-mm.
they would produce a product that is sustainable
Mm-mm.
or that could decrease the emission of carbon
Mm.
to our environment, of course.
Mm. So this day we are suffering from the environmental problem.
And it's actually the opposite
Mm-hmm.
because of coronavirus,
Mm-mm.
different industries
Mm-mm.
such as electrical
Mm-mm.
and more
Mm-mm.
has shut down some of their production hours.
Yes.
So
Mm-mm.
because of coronavirus, we are having cleaner air,
Mm-mm.
cleaner environment.
Mm.
That is why they thought maybe in the future we can have this kind of environment, a cleaner one, not just
Mm.
the old time.
Yes.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so today in your country,
Mm-mm.
do you think that with the presence of the pandemic, your country's environment has cleaned up a bit?
I don't think so because mm, this day because of the coronavirus we use the delivery service very frequently. So at
Mm-hmm.
the time we should the company usually make the very big boxes for the delivery service and
Mm-hmm.
mm, and I think that for the delivery service we should use the a lot of boxes. So it is one of the reasons to attack environment.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So aside from the carbon emission of the car they use for delivery,
Mm-mm.
they also use a lot of boxes.
Mm-mm. And like plastic boxes or paper boxes
Mm-hmm.
and so on. And for packing some products, we also we need to use a lot of materials as well. So
Mm-hmm.
it is one of the big issues these days about the delivery package material.
Oh, I see. Well, are there any laws in your country about minimizing the use of plastics?
Mm, yes. I think so. instead of the plastic, we usually use the paper.
Mm-hmm.
And but however, when it comes to the tapes, for packaging tapes, do you know
Mm-hmm.
tapes?
Yes, the packaging ones, brown, black.
Yes, it is
Uh,
made from the. But some of the companies try to use the paper tapes instead of the plastic
mm-hmm.
tapes. So it is good.
Oh, so you think there was the coronavirus has no effect to your environment?
Yeah, there's no effect. A little bit. I'm not sure, but I think that when it comes to the plant or
Mm-hmm.
factory, we still work. We still um, the company still opened or works
Mm-hmm.
their job. So in Korea, we really didn't affect from the coronavirus these days.
Mm-hmm. Because I heard from other students that the air becomes clearer
Mm.
during
Oh
this
yes,
pandemic.
compared to before, I think that it is. We thought that the fine dust usually comes from China, but the most
Mm-hmm.
of the factories in China shut down, so we can breathe very cleaner air.
Mm-hmm. It's just sad that you still need to wear mask when you go out, right?
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Okay. So, what are then the things that you've learned during this crisis?
Mm, about this coronavirus,
Uh-huh.
mm, I learned that I got one lesson, which is that we always need to be prepared for something.
Mm-hmm.
For example, I actually want to get a job in the travel agency,
Mm-hmm.
so I just only prepared some travel, um, about the certificates about the travel agency. But
Mm-hmm.
because of the because of these issues about the coronavirus, I I won't be able to get a job in travel agency parts. So um I should look for a job in another part, another field.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to prepare again about another certificate. So I got a lesson that I always need to think about the second
Plan B, like
yeah,
that.
plan B, second plan B.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Oh, wow, nice. So whenever you make plans, you should always have a second option, or you
Mhm.
should always have plan B.
Mm.
Interesting. Well then, do you think that people can do something
Mhm.
in the near future to make our environment cleaner?
Make something.
Yes. What could people do or factories do to
Mm,
achieve the goal of this agency?
not sure, but compared to before, we started to make alternative products or materials instead of the
Mm-hmm.
plastic, such as a paper tapes or paper string. Yes, and some paper bags and so on.
All right. So it's about reducing the our resources.
Mhm.
Interesting. Okay, and what are your thoughts about the article? Your final thought about it?
Mm, I'm final thought about this article.
Yeah.
Mm, I just hope that the coronavirus um, disappeared as soon as possible and make some vaccination for so that way we can return to our normal life as before.
Mhm.
Mm, and I think that we can talk about another topic.
Oh, all right. You want to shift into another one? Did you
Yes.
prepare?
No, but I can read right now about the hottest years.
All right. Go ahead.
Mm, yes.
Would you like to read it loud?
Okay. Every single month of 2020 has been either the hottest or the second hottest on record for that month. Therefore, there is nearly 50% chance that 2020 will be the hottest year on record. Some of the most significant warming has been in Northern Asia, which averaged 6.3 degrees Fahrenheit
Mhm.
above the average so far. The nation expects the higher than usual. Yes, in the top part is years in history, and it is of broken hits. The second is years since the hardest years. Yes, I read it. This
Oh,
article say
okay.
that um according to the history, this article say that 2020 will be the hardest season,
Hottest.
the hardest um the year
Mhm.
according to history. hmm Yes, I think that's all.
Okay. Yes. So basically, it's just telling us that this year
Mm-mm,
has recorded the hottest temperature along
mm-mm,
the history.
mm-mm.
Can you feel that change of
Mm,
temperature?
Not yet. Still in Korea, July is not that in the middle of in the not that in the middle of summer. I
Mhm.
think the August is really in the middle of the summer, so I can feel it in August.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So far, from the temperature during the beginning of summer,
Mm-mm.
it wasn't that hot for you.
Yes, not that hot for me.
Mm. Interesting.
I think the
Well, what's the
last
hotter?
year, yeah, last year was hotter than right now. Mm-hmm.
Oh, do you kind of remember what was the hottest temperature last year?
I couldn't remember, but I remember one thing is that even in Korea uh um we got the the Middle East degrees they usually they
Mhm.
usually have over over 40 degrees.
Wow.
hmm It was our very first time to experience over the 40-degree, like Middle East.
Mhm.
Mm-mm.
So your temperature was almost or was equal to the
Mm-mm.
temperature in the Middle East,
Mm-mm.
Asia. Okay. So what do you think are the possible reasons why the temperature gets higher and higher?
One of the reason is that of course the environment problem, global warming.
Mhm.
Mm, so global warming. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So the steady rise of temperature,
Or
global
do you
warming.
have any idea about it?
Well, I guess you're right. It's the global warming which
Mm-mm.
caused the thickening of the ozone layer of the Earth,
Mm-mm.
right? That's why we experience unexpected temperature every now and
Mm-hmm.
then.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, the same as the first article,
Mm-mm.
how can we address this issue?
Mm-hmm. I think that mm, address this issue. One of the way we usually use uh, we we try not to use the plastic or using
Okay,
just
good.
public transportation. Like this, we always try to think our global warming. So there are many companies who really mm, who really care about the environment, and they started to use um, mm, just paper straw instead of the plastic straw, or
Mm-hmm.
not use plastic cup in the store, inside the store. Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Mm, yes, and I also hope that in the future we can make um, some machine that make environment that help environment cleaner, like this.
Okay. Like
Mm-mm.
an eco-friendly machines
Yes.
or products.
Mm-mm.
Right. Well, if this continue to happen,
Mm-mm.
50 years from now, how do you imagine life in Korea or life in Earth in
Over
general?
50-degree.
Over 50 degrees.
Oh, so
Mm.
sorry, I couldn't get it your question. So could
Ah,
you
sure.
mm-hmm.
If this rise of temperature continues to happen,
Mm-mm.
how do you imagine life in Earth 50 years from now?
50 years from now.
Uh-huh.
Mm, I think that we have a lot of buildings. Like instead of the
Mm-hmm.
outside outside activities, we try to make inside activities. So that way, we try to build a lot of buildings.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that in the future, we try to make very the air conditioner, which is very high function. Like
Mm-hmm.
when we turn on the air condition, um, just in 5 seconds, we can that air condition make a very um, cool atmosphere right away, like this. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that we try to depend on some machine or the building.
Oh,
Mm-mm.
okay. So first, you think instead of outdoor activities, it
Mm-mm.
will be more on indoors.
Mm-mm.
Second, the advancement of technology,
Mm-mm.
especially with air conditioners.
Mm-mm.
Oh, do you think? I mean, do you think that people would
Mm-mm.
rather choose to
Mm-mm.
go out of the planet,
Oh, go out of the planet.
yes,
Mm.
and try to live somewhere else.
Oh, yeah, it might be. They, but I'm not sure. Over 50 years, we still just try to find whether the planet is available or not to live in.
Mm,
But I think that some of the scientists try to study uh, the another way to live in another planet.
mm-hmm.
So
Right.
I think it is possible over 500 years. After 500
Oh,
years. Mm-mm.
after 5 more centuries.
Mm-mm.
Mm, I would agree with you,
Mm-mm.
but I think with the advancement of technology, it would be possible after 150.
Mm-mm.
Right. Okay. Well, how about you? Do you have questions about the article?
This article.
Uh-huh.
Oh well, I don't have.
You don't have any?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
Mm-mm.
what do you do during the hot days?
Hot day.
Yes,
I
during
usually
summer days, but not rainy.
we I think that for Koreans we during the day we usually go to the cafe. For for the students they try to study in the cafe with the fresh and cold atmosphere, cold temperature. And after finishing study, I usually go to the bar with my friends and take take some beers.
Mm-hmm.
These
Oh,
days.
you like
Uh, mm-mm. So in
this
Korea, this day we have a
day?
concept. We have a trend, which is that
Mm-hmm.
um, most of the bar try to offer very cold beer. So they put the whole the cup, the beer's cup into the freezer,
Mm-hmm.
and then they offer that frozen cups to us, so we can feel very cold the beer. We can drink very
And
cold beer.
refreshed.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm. Wow, so it's almost like iced beer.
Yeah, iced beer. So it is
Mm.
one of the trends in Korea in the bar.
Wow, I envy you because
Mm-hmm.
here bars are still closed.
Yes, I know that.
Yeah, so enjoy your moment, but always be safe with
Mm-mm.
your friends.
Mm-mm.
Right. Okay. And how do you protect your skin from this ultraviolet rays coming from the sun?
Um, I think that wash our face very frequently and try to. I'm not sure, but mm, sometimes I change my skincare lotion, which
Mhm.
is because during the winters I try to use very moisture skincare, but
Uh-huh.
during the summer I try to buy some more. How can I say that? Drier lotion, make my skin.
Dried lotions,
Yeah, dry lotion.
sunscreen,
Yeah, sunscreen. Mm-mm.
mm, with SPF protection,
Mm-mm.
Right. Yes. So we have to take care not only our
Mm-mm.
body, but especially the skin that covers us.
Yeah.
Correct. Okay. Well, I think we can end it here. Not
Mm-mm.
unless you have questions about the articles.
Nope.
Nope. All right. Nice
Mm-mm.
meeting you, Sunny, and enjoy
Yes.
the day.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank